So, good morning. There's that song, forgive me if I'm not totally correct in my quote. Some of the most interesting 40-year-olds that I know still don't know what they want to do. You know that one?
You have not coffee?
So I'm 41. And the story starts as this. Rewind. I'm 25. I'm after military service and Keva, and I've gone to the Far East and done India and Thailand and the whole shindig. And I come back and I have a Jewish mother, so I have to sign up for some DA. And what do I want to learn? I don't know, almost everything interests me. Until today, almost everything except for that. Okay. The thing that would interest me most back then is people. So I go for behavioral sciences. Madai Nagul. I have to work. I know a friend from my trip. She has a good friend who has a cafe on King George called Bacho. Bacho, if anybody knows, it was closed not long ago. It was really, talk about it in a second. And I go and I interview with the guy, and he says, "You ever work in a cafe?" "No." "You sit at cafes?" "No." I drink coffee when I'm tired or something. He looks pretty cool. He looks pretty nice. I need to make money. I'm like, yeah, I'll work. I go work as a barman. Now this is 2002. If anybody says barista, they'll be like, what? Barista. But what? Barman. Period. Smoking's allowed still inside cafes. I work in a cafe. I smell like an ashtray and I smoke till today because everybody's smoking in their face. And I work there, and we work with some Italian coffee called Danesi. And since I'm curious, so I start asking the boss, what's this coffee and what's wine from Italy? And he was a bit in Italy. He lived there for a bit, and he really loves coffee, so he starts explaining. Now, no laptops, no Wi-Fi on your smartphone or whatever. So here and there, I ask people, and I maybe pick up a book, and I read a bit about coffee, and I'm like, wow, this is serious shit. It's not a book, right? Cool. And I'm there 3, 4, 5, 6 times a week, depends on what I buy back home. And I say, okay, let's get into this. And I start getting into the coffee. And in the meantime, I look at the people every day sitting there around, I'm like, it's pretty much the same people come here pretty much every day. First of all, what do you do for a living? I want to sit in a cafe every day. By the way, 16 years later, I have the same questions. And again, no laptops, so people converse much more than today. And I have shifts that I go home and I get back and I talk to my room and I'm like, I do not believe I was paid for these hours. I talked about literature with this guy and philosophy with that girl, and I learned about new music, and I heard about I remember when The Wire came out, Smuyach. I heard about a new series which was supposed to be really cool, and really had like cultural inspiration. Not in a falsani sense, in a day-to-day, down-to-earth. People read the papers, people read books, they exchange things, they exchange talks, chats, ideas, they flirt, whatever, and I'm making them coffee. I'm the rock star. I'm on the machine and I pour it and no latte, no nothing. And Bacho, which was really special for me, I think also for Tel Aviv, because in a time and place when there weren't many bohemian places. You learn about in history about Kasit and Ovan, places like that. And I can tell you that today, part of the people that were my clients, today they're like newspapers and like directors and art treasurers and actors are just still cool, funky, interesting people, whatever, walk dogs. And then once a year there was something there called Messi Bacho, which Reut, the original owner, she would make once a year, somewhere out in a field, a forest or something. And all the customers of Bacho would come. I'm like, okay, this is a society. this is like a community. Pretty cool. I still don't sit in cafes, but pretty cool. And they know each other, and they help each other out. And when they go through breakups, then they cry on each other's shoulders, and they get assistance when they're going abroad or they're looking for a job or whatever. In the meantime, the guy, the distributor from that Vanessa coffee, a guy called Moti, one of my best friends still today, comes at one point and he says, see, you're a bit geeking out on coffee. We need someone for like 10, 20 hours a month to help like training bartending. You want to come? Like, more money? Yeah. Cool. What do I do? Then he sends me around in Tel Aviv in all kinds of cafes, and I teach them about why Italian coffee is the best in the world, and Danesi is the best brand on earth, and the whole sales pitch. And I start learning a bit more about the coffee. Oh, it really matters if you adjust the grinder, and if the milk is boiling hot and it affects the flavor. Okay, still don't want to geek out too much, but cool. And then Danesi at some point say, okay, listen, we're getting more and more clientele. You want to come in? We need like 50% occupied job. Okay. 4 years pass. I'm done with my BA. My mom's like, okay, Dan, it's really cute, but when you're going to be 40, are you going to still make coffee for people? Guess what I told her on my 40th birthday? And Danesi says, okay, listen, are you free? We need like a full-time instructor. Like, cool, why not? And then I go there. And then another thing happens. I start every day, I get into a car, and I drive to a different city, and I instruct people, and I get the sense that I'm getting my kicks out of this. I'm seeing new people every day, and I'm seeing different cultures, how a cafe in Tel Aviv works in the vibe, and in Be'er Sheva, and in Kiryat Shmona, and gas station in Yerucham, and the university in Yerushalayim, and whatever. And every place has its own vibe, its own clique, its own special community feeling. And the places that don't, they close down in a second. And I start seeing hundreds of cafes and restaurants and stuff. And I see them opening up and closing down and opening up and closing down. It's, by the way, the food and beverage industry in Israel is statistically the most dangerous to invest in. Banks will not give you a shekel alone. If you want to open up a cafe, come to me later. I'll explain why you don't want it. If you love coffee, don't open up a cafe. And then I started getting really into it. And since I'm the barista instructor, and then suddenly the company grew, and I have instructors of my own, and I'm a training manager. And suddenly the guys, and more specifically the girls from Danesi, they come to Israel. And now suddenly I'm sitting in dinners with my CEO and the girls from the Danesi family, and we're talking about crops and stuff and green beans. I'm like, wow, it's like serious profession, isn't it? Then one day I'm working at one of the importers of Danesi. They've grown. I won't get into it, but I'm selling that in Tel Aviv. I'm in Urieli, in Tanya, near Ikea, which has its perks, but not many. And then one day the CEO's like, okay, listen, we want to bring in some Italian coffee. So you're going abroad now, right? So on the way back, you want to stop over in Italy and go to this big factory and talk about it. Yeah. Free? No, we're going to pay for it. Yeah. So on the way back from Burning Man, I get to Milano and I go to Bonomi Spa. Bonomi Spa is one of those places that established in, BC sometimes. Great grandfather does coffee. And I get there and I see the depth of the industry and of the profession. I meet Gianni Nora. Gianni Nora is one of the professors. He's like the old mad professor of the Italian community. I sit with him and I won't pull you through it. I feel like I'm sitting in a library of coffee. And there another, something that clicks in my mind. I really like the creativity of this. Fast forward a couple of years, I quit my job there. I become a partner in a local roastery here in Israel. And I dive deep. The beans from India taste like this, and from Brazil like this. And if you roast them dark, if you roast them light, and for espresso and for filter, like, wow, it's actually about creation also. And I create my first blend, which is like, I don't know, creating the algorithm or an item or something like that. Really, really exciting. Then I go, and luck has it, I have to stop my job there because we're not making enough money. I was young and naive, like crazy. We didn't get the customers that we wanted. And by chance, another company, Israeli company, says, hey, you want to work for us? And that's Coffee Tech. Coffee Tech is an Israeli company that makes roasters and espresso machines. It's one of the hot shots in the international market today. And for 3 years, I manage the international sales. And I go around all the world. And I go to expos and to clients and to schools and academies in Europe and in North America. And I meet some of the biggest experts, and it's really, really exciting, but something's missing. I have an office job. And I go same day, every day to the same place, behind the same keyboard, see the same people. I learn more than I could learn until then. I learned in 3 years more than I learned in 14 years before. And one day, and I'm like, I can't stand this. I can't stand this. I'm not liking my job. I need the community. I need the creation. I love the place. I love the profession, but I miss back then. And then one day, I decide already in my mind I'm going to quit. I'm like, shit. And a friend from the coffee world named Lasaf calls and says, you know how you're blabbering about in the past 3, 4, 5 years that maybe one day you'll open up a cafe and a micro roastery? Get up. Let's do it. He was quitting a partnership in another cafe, in another small chain. We gang up, we go, we see a few locations, then he tells me there's a location in Kikal Dizengoff. Bacho is in the area, is in the neighborhood of Kikal Dizengoff. I'm like, interesting. Should I close the circle 16 years later? I go see the location, fall in love instantly. I pick up the phone to Leut, my boss 16 years earlier, which in the meantime is a designer of like museum spaces and public spaces and has nothing to do with coffee. And I say, Leut, I don't know how you did it, but in Bacho there was like a 5. I'm opening up now a place. I am not opening it up if you don't design it. I said, look, just have it. I'm between projects. I have 2 months of spare time. Let's go for it. And she goes back also. And she designs the place. And we build the place from scratch. And at one point, we decided to call it Nachat because a friend of mine, a copywriter, into the night, drinking and smoking, and at some point he says, because we're thinking about a name, he says, what do you offer? What do you want people to experience when they come to your place? Fuck off, with all due respect. That's not the point. I don't know, like, start nothing. Nah, that's shitty word. We crossed it out, came back to it too late. 2 days later, called it Nachat. And I found myself, after 16 years, combining 2 things that I think I still really love. I get to please people. I get to make their day a bit better. I get to connect between them. If anybody's been to Nachat, we have a no laptop zone. And when people ask why, because we want people to look into each other's eyes. Because we want people maybe to, exchange ideas or something. If you ever dive into the history of the cafes, that's the idea. The subtitle of Nachat today is called Salon Cafe. Google it. You'll find out the salons in Europe. It was a hub. It was where you would come. In England, they called it penny universities. You would pay a penny, and you would listen, and you would talk, and you would read a magazine, and flirt, and exchange ideas, and whatever it is. On the while, I'm making coffee. Now we're importing our own coffee. We're making our own blends. We're doing it. with as much love and creativity as we can. And in a nutshell, that's the path I take.